Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Keisha with Zazie K Creations. I'm here today to share with you a really quick review of my Happy Planner. I was in Joann's over the weekend, the President's Day weekend, and they had a nice sale, 40% off of all of the Happy Planner system. Happy Planner stickers, planners, page inserts were all on sale 40% off. Anyone who knows about planning, using the Happy Planner system, their systems are can be really expensive. So whenever you can catch a sale on those, it's really good to just kind of stock up on whatever you need for that particular planner or from that sale. So I'm going to share with you just what's inside the planner and how I intend to use it. So this particular planner is specific to sewing. They have themed planners as well. So if you're a teacher, you can buy one based off teaching. If you are probably an artist, you can probably purchase one based off an artist theme. But because I sew, I'm considering myself a sewist, a newbie sewist. I did buy a planner with the sewing theme. So as you open the planner, as you can see, it has all these nice little buttons and scissors and just something decorative for planners, for people who are interested in the sewing planner. And there are more stickers here. I can put it here, who the planner belongs to. If I choose to put my name in here, probably won't do that. It's not really necessary. When you open up this page here, there's a yearly setting your goals page or section for this year. There's another side for next year's goals, as well as a calendar system for 2022 and 2023. If I go over to the next page, it looks like for every month of the year, these next 4 pages actually, every day they have a block that you can probably put some kind of noting system in. I'm not sure how I'll use this part of the planner, if at all. I might just only use the weekly and the monthly planners as I move through it throughout the planner. So as you open up for January, you have here priorities and goals. Whatever my goals and priorities were for January would have gone here. And here I would have also put some important dates for January. What I like about this particular planner is that it actually gives you sewing terms. So there are lots of sewing terms that are used universally in the sewing community. And this is like a quick reference guide to what those terms mean. So applique, there's a definition of here what that means. Facing, what that means. Seam allowance, what that is. It gives you a quick reference guide, which is very helpful. And then on the next page, you'll see there's some information here about commonly used hand stitches. Sometimes when you're sewing, you can't use your machine for everything. You might have to do a little bit of hand stitching. So here are some really quick and commonly used hand stitches here. And it tells you how to do that stitch and what it's used for, which is very, very important and very helpful. This here talks a little bit about clipping and notching, which really is important, especially when you start working with patterns. How to clip your corners of your fabric, and then notching, which is really important when you're trying to put together your pieces of fabric for patterns. And then here, pattern markings. On every pattern, there are universal symbols that tell you how to work through the pattern, and those are listed here for you as a reference guide as well. On the fold, what that means is folding your fabric on the fold. Cut lines, a grain line. These are notching symbols and buttonhole symbols, so that's very helpful. And then on here, body measurements. So I have another planner that gave me a lot more body measurements than what's listed here, but I do like this because it's a little smaller. And as my measurements change, if I use pencil or my erasable pens, I can just, make those changes here. But it gives you different body measurements that you might need as you go out and looking for patterns and shopping and things like that. There's a nice note here that says measure twice, cut once. I think that's very, very important. I tend to measure 3 times just because I want to make sure my measurements are accurate every time before I go and start cutting. Now, I haven't worked with patterns yet. I've only been working with just fabric measurements, but even in that, I simply make sure I measure at least 3 times so that when I cut once, everything is pretty much the same and pretty much perfect. So I talked earlier about hand stitching. This page here gives me information on machine stitching, different types of machine stitchings. Now there are several more that are not listed here, but these are the most common types. This is a single lock stitch. A straight stitch is typically used for just your general sewing. Zigzag stitches are very commonly used when you're working with knits and things of that nature. There's a blind hem, a multi-stitch zigzag, and then of course your very popular buttonhole stitch. So all of these are stitches that you do on your actual machine. So every month, I think for the most part, there is a really nice inspirational quote that can kind of keep you inspired for the month. So in January, it said, "Beautiful things come together one stitch at a time." I think that's really nice, kind of, motivational to make sure you kind of stay inspired with your sewing. So January, so every month, I looked through this already, and every month you have your monthly layout, and you have a notes section, which is pretty standard in most calendar systems. As you go into your weekly planning, it gets a little bit more detailed. So you have different errands you might need to run. Errands you might need to run Joann Fabrics, I don't know, maybe a fabric store. Things you want to get done, you put them here for that week. Any calls or emails you need to make, you can put those here as well. Anything that you noted that you might want to keep as a reference or it's just a simple note from the week. And then things you want to focus on this week, you would put those things here. And then again, every day of the week, you have your daily planner system where you can go in and make sure that you keep things on track. So how I plan to use my plan, well, I'll tell you that in a second. One more thing I want to show you. Right. So as you begin planning, I think for the next month, it gives you this really nice detailed sewing project, kind of like a plan. It's a budget plan, basically. It's a way that you can keep your money on track with sewing. Sewing is not a cheap hobby. It is not a cheap hobby at all. And it's very, very important that you budget well, you plan well, and you shop intentionally and very thoughtfully. So this here is a way that you can kind of keep all that in place. You can put on here how much fabric you need for a certain project, the cost of that fabric, and then here, whenever you're going to spend for the month, you tally this here, and then you put your total cost here. There's a lot of research that has to be done before you just jump out there and just, go and buy your fabric and your notions and things like that. So you really want to make sure that when you take on any project in sewing or any hobby, that you think about what you want to do in the coming month, plan accordingly, and then shop, really, really careful with your money. And then on this page, this just gives you some blocks that you can use to keep your fabric swatches. So if you purchase fabric from any fabric supplier, you not just want to come home and store your fabric away. You might want to take a little corner of the fabric off, maybe no bigger than maybe 2 inches around, and just kind of put that here, because that will help keep you also on track of what you own in terms of your fabric supply, your fabric stash. I did that for a little while and I kind of got away from it. So my plan is to, as I pull my fabric out, before I start making a project, I will plan to go back to cutting off my 2-inch corners and putting them in my system that I have. Now, I don't use this system here. I use other type of index cards, and I put my notes on the index card, and I put them on like a little ring, punch a hole in it, put it on a ring, and I keep them there. That way they're all in one place. But this is here in case there is a beginner who wants to think about how they want to organize their fabric and understand and remember the cost of their fabric, where they got their fabric from. So again, you have your description here, how much fabric you have, the price of that fabric, that's very important as well, and then where you got your fabric from. And again, February is the same layout, you know, your monthly layout, your weekly layout, and then at the very end, you get your planning space for the next month, which will be March, your swatches that you have purchased or you need to purchase, your fabric swatch area that you have to purchase for the upcoming month. As you purchase them, you will actually come back here and I guess put those little pieces of fabric here along with your description. And again, for March, there's a nice sewing that says, my sewing place is my happy place. So again, very inspirational. So I had another calendar I used specifically for sewing. It wasn't a sewing themed calendar. It was just the basic calendar I got from a local office supply store. But I think I will transition to this because for one, it's smaller. And for two, it really keeps me focused on nothing more but sewing. So I do like that. And I've always wanted to have a happy planner. Since they were on sale at Joann Fabrics over the President Day weekend, I went ahead and I purchased my very first one. So I do plan to keep this going. They have a website as well. You can purchase their planners off of their website. And then, you know, you can every year do your inserts and make sure that you have the relevant pages you need for that year or that month, or even if you want to change up a theme. If you get a reusable planner, you can always change your theme. Just insert your pages and you're good to go. So this is my quick review of the Happy Planner that I purchased from Joann Fabrics this weekend over President's Day weekend, their sale. So if you're interested, go over to Joann Fabrics before the sale ends, or visit the Happy Planner website and browse and look for your Happy Planner. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like my channel, and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.